Good evening, YouTube. Here we are again, and we face another bit of moronic Mormon madness. For the remainder of this production, our fundy friends from Utah have to pretend that their faith, the latter day, cretinous, cuckoo, catty, chauvinist, cold cultists have a shred of humanity and compassion for homosexual men and women. Right. If by some small chance you have missed the sister video to this one where I cover some of the basics of their faith and the nonsense of having their own planet, praise Kratos, there will be a link below where I explain the reasons for making this production, why I cut it in twain, along with a few juicy quotes. Forgive me, but there are just a handful of things I said last time that bear repeating, but fret not, we shall advance in but a moment. Speaking yet again about quoting people, it is most fortunate for all the Abrahamic faiths, regardless of how insane, imbecilic, or iniquitous that faith may be, that their founders and leading members are nothing but dust and ash long before the invention of the printing press. Hundreds or thousands of years have diluted whatever opinions they might have had in the past that were acceptable for the day and are morally abhorrent today. In this, our fundy friends from Utah have no such luck. No matter how much they might want to erase their inconvenient past, the cloak of loathing for anyone who is not a white, male, cultist who loved tits and ass alone remains. Once again, I feel forced to mention that bit about the DMCA I said last time. For, if my experience is any guide, it is merely a matter of time until this video is false flagged in an attempt by the sanctimonious, splenetic, sulking simpletons who are deathly afraid of any outside information, let alone criticism and reason. Therefore, I must repeat that the Fair Use Clause in the DMCA allows me to use your footage, for I am commenting on its contents. If the malodorous, menial Mormon minions do attempt to take it down, fear not. It shall be forwarded to and mirrored by as many people here on YouTube who are willing to accept it. In the end, the LDS dimwits will only be dragged into a harsh, unkind spotlight where we are legion, for we are many, and none of us cares a whit for censorship. Before I get started ripping into this petulant, perverse, painful, provoking piece of propaganda, I must state that I have nothing but the highest respect for the brave men and women who came forth out of the closet and allowed themselves to be recorded in Utah. Hostile territory for being gay, if there ever was one. If, by the smallest of chances, any of you in the BYU film are hearing my voice, please know that for all I despise your church, I have more than an equal measure of respect for all of you. I wish you all the best and hold you all in the highest regard. There will be a link below where you can see this video unedited in all its underwhelming glory. And, as always, any definitions for words you may not know shall be listed in order below. With that being said, we begin.
I know you expect me to say it gets better, but if I'm going to be authentic, I can't say that. I don't know where you are in your life right now. I don't know what experiences, what pain you've gone through. And I don't know for sure if it'll get better, but people that I know that love me have told me that, and I'm trying to believe them.
Hi, I'm Adam. I am gay and I am Mormon and I'm a student at BYU studying music and theater.
My name is Heather Waddington and I'm a senior at BYU and I'm a lesbian.
Well, my name is Derek. I'm 24, a BYU student majoring in international relations, and I'm gay.
My name is Jenna Hawkins. I am a BYU student.
And I'm Mormon and I'm a lesbian.
Now that we've met a handful of the supposed 1,800 gay students at BYU, let's see what your church has to say about Asian people. This little gem comes from Mark E. Peterson. Quote, "We cannot escape the conclusion because of performance in the pre-existence. Some of us are born as Chinese, some as Japanese, some as Indians, some as Negroes, some as Americans, some as Latter-day Saints. These are rewards and punishments, fully in harmony with his established policy. In dealing with sinners and saints, rewarding all according to their deeds." End quote. From Race Problems as They Affect the Church, August 27th, 1954, page 11. Kind of puts you at the bottom of that list, doesn't it? Girl, you got more problems than just being gay. According to your faith, you have almost committed a crime by having the face that you do.
My name is Kiefer. I go to BYU.
And I'm gay.
I'm Mark. I'm a gay BYU student.
I am a Mormon.
And I'm a lesbian.
And I'm also gay.
And I'm bisexual.
And I'm a statistics major at BYU.
My name is Andrew Brown. I'm a gay Mormon, and I attend Brigham Young University.
And I know what it's like to feel like you're alone.
This has to be one of the most painfully obvious statements I have ever read in my life. The LDS, as I speak, is doing all within its considerable lobbying power to make sure that none of the men and women in this video have the right that I possess. The right to marry the person I love.
When I was a little kid, I was that kid that would make you smile because he was so darn gay.
I first noticed that I was different when I was in 5th grade, when all the other guys would obsess about girls and I just did not care.
I would be shamelessly flirting with boys. I was just obsessed with all these things that boys shouldn't be obsessed with.
I knew that I was different from the time I was little. I can look back and see when I fell in love with my best friend at the age of 9.
Well, I probably first started experiencing homosexual feelings at around 14 years old.
And it just got even more and more distinct as time went on, especially when I was 12 and I realized I had a sexual attraction to guys.
It wasn't until I started dating that I really started to realize that I was not that into guys, and I felt like, oh, most girls like kissing their boyfriends and don't die a little on the inside every time they have to kiss them.
I don't mean to single this girl out, but there is something horribly wrong about a society where you kiss someone you don't like and you feel that a part of you dies. Let's pause just for a moment and see what some of your prominent members have to say about homosexuality. This little gem comes from your apostle, Boyd K. Packer. Quote, "There is a falsehood that some are born with an attraction to their own kind, with nothing they can do about it. They are just that way and can only yield to those desires. That is a malicious and destructive lie. While it is a convincing idea to some, it is of the devil. No one is locked into that kind of life. From our pre-moral life, we were directed into a physical body. There is no mismatching of bodies and spirits. Boys are to become men, masculine, manly men, ultimately to become husbands and fathers. No one is predestined to a perverted use of these powers." End quote. 1976, General Conference speech entitled, "To Young Men Only." Mormons have an overabundance of compassion, tolerance, understanding, and acceptance. No. Merciful Buddha, this is fucked up.
And then I realized, wait, I might be gay. I remember going up to a mirror in my bathroom and looking myself right in the eye and saying, "Adam, I think you're gay."
And it scared me. It absolutely terrified me, naturally, because I truly believed in this church, and these feelings did not coincide with that church.
Of course your feelings did not coincide. The LDS has a history since its founding that lasts, in part to this day, of hating anyone who was, and is, not white, male or unfailingly heterosexual, you have 2 strikes against you for being gay and a woman. But at least you are white and delightsome in the eyes of your Lord.
I got super depressed. I was just really, really confused.
I felt really alone. I didn't tell anyone.
Because I just felt I'm not worthy. God clearly doesn't love me because he does not love gay people.
I know what it's like to look at other girls and think I shouldn't be feeling this way. I know what it's like to be afraid. I know what it's like to feel like there's no one you can turn to. I know what it's like to be crying alone in your room because you're too scared to tell your parents.
Because some parents might disown you, send you packing to a camp to make you ungay, or even kill you. Let me guess, somebody sooner or later from the LDS in the comments below will tell me how it is filled with compassion and not a trace of judgment. The testimony thus far, the fear and self-loathing in the eyes of these young men and women, is not very convincing of your claims to be of a benevolent nature.
I know what it's like when your father condemns you. I know what it's like when people won't talk to you or tell you not to come around.
To call you weird, to call you immoral, to call you a whore, to call you soulless.
I thought that eventually maybe it'd be better if I died.
Stay classy, LDS. Stay classy. Any religion that makes anyone feel that suicide is preferable to being gay, as opposed to a happy and full life and accepting who you are, is in whole or in part pure evil. Let me say that again, just so I make sure I get my point across. If your church says directly or indirectly that being born gay is evil and that suicide is a more noble and preferable path than to a so-called life of sin, then that faith is evil and without a shred of moral fiber. In this, I cannot be convinced otherwise.
I just felt that I needed to just kill myself because the heartbreak of me dying would be less than the heartbreak my parents would experience if I came out to them.
It wasn't too long ago that I was in a hospital, in the psychiatric ward, silent, not willing to talk to anyone, believing that no one could love me.
The Church of the Latter-day Saints' hands are stained in the blood of its gay members. No matter how much they may spin or slander, that blood can never be washed clean.
So I did everything I could to really be that perfect Mormon. I thought that was going to cure myself.
I tried to do as much band, choir, drama, bishop's first assistant, service projects, mutual, seminary. I tried to get into all these things so I wouldn't have to think about my sexuality.
And I would ask, like, God, if I read my scriptures every day and I pray every day and I do everything I can, will you please take this away from me? And it never went away.
It never went away because it's part of who you are, like the color of your eyes, skin, and hair. But there is nothing wrong with being gay, despite the vindictive, vile, vicious lies you have been told.
Nonetheless, I still did everything that the church taught me because I figured that if I would stay righteous and follow everything the church did, that I would change, because God didn't make me this way.
My good man. It's called DNA, not God. Your parents made you, not a long-dead cod man or a polygamist phantom pervert.